Got ourselves Amarok over for the team too. It looks like maybe potentially first up. He's standing next to the doors. Look at that cutlass. It looks so good. I can't wear that thing. It's a two-handed. Oh, it fits you so well too. Oh, it looks so good with a Mog. My goodness. It looks like a one-hander, doesn't it? It's a two-hander, but it looks like a one-hander, man. We got ourselves Deathswip, we got ourselves Hockey on the enhancement. It's perfected as well. Young is going to be first up versus Amarok. And this man, didn't really get to play too much last time. He's going to try to see if he can reverse a Flame Shock back into Amarok. That is going to be a bit of a knockback and a knockout for Amar. And as long as he can keep Young at a distance, he should be able to get quite a bit of damage. Frost Shock, Earth Shocks are your best friend in cap, but it breaks immediately as Amarok realizes he's kind of lowish on health, wants to stay mobile as best as possible. Normal wall, got himself Guardian. Will need to get some kind of damage behind to make that Guardian Spirit work. That'll get himself a bunch of healing. The totem does not catch Young though. That is unfortunate. He does have himself the Earthshock Frost Shock combo, which is fantastic. Does he play into icy what's it called? Ice what's it called? The Frost one. The Frost ability makes Frost Shocks hit really, really hard. I forget. It's gonna be bad damage out of Young. Zuwen, just a serenity, or like moments of serenity, and that's all it took. Death Sweep immediately with a trinket. He knows that Young does not have Leg Sweep for a while, so now is the time to shine. Young does not have a trinket either, so he's in a rough spot right now. Big karma to reverse the damage back to Death Sweep, maybe. You can just capitalize off of this. Death Sweep doesn't kind of back it up out of there with an immunity. This is where Young is just trying to catch up as much health as possible. Every single one of the blade dances though is going to be super, super deadly. Young does at least use a defensive for this one, but he's still just hurting right now. The damage over time is not feeling great at all, and that's going to be Death Sweep. I think catching him, he barely stayed alive, trying to go for the miss. Yo, that Ring of Peace is actually getting quite a bit of value. But nah, just the passive raw damage, the bleed, the chaos dot, the fire damage, the immolation aura. All that damage adds up to give him so quite a bit of that good sustain. Madara up next versus Death Sweep. Demon Hunter versus DH. Death Sweep does not have a trinket, so Madara does have an advantage here. Not a crazy one, but does have an advantage. Death Sweep immediately charging in, trying to see if he can get himself the first go. Madara does take a bit of damage and health. It does end up using the trinket there. But he is DR'd on stuns. Big hunt out of Death Sweep. Second stun to follow with yet another blade dance. Got himself into it. Oh, Metamorphosis Death Sweep on top of it. My goodness. Into a darkness as is going to be Burnson. Trying to see if he can hit these guys with that Blade Storm or Blade Dance Cleave as much as possible while trying to stay in the defensive whenever he can. Oh my goodness. Jason after Burnson, as soon as he sees him play defensively, he's getting in. He's trying to see if he can make a play out of it. That's going to be Karma trying to see if he can cancel out the IB immediately. And that's going to be Burnson. Does not have the ability to capitalize on that Karma. Trying to see if he can make some work off of it. And Death Sweep utilizing that unmatched mobility to keep his distance while also putting a slow into Burnson. Goes in for another hit and run. Backs up out of there. That's what he's going to do. He's going to go in, rip it to shreds, back away. Quick stun. No trinket. Oh, he just took out with that cleave. My goodness. As Dax is going to be up next. Did he hit him on Stormbolt? Is that what happened? Is that what that was? That's going to be Reflect though for Dax. Got himself the Avatar charging back towards Death Sweep. As the man trying to stay afloat in midair as best as he can. He needs to go for hit and run. Trinket's back up, so at least if he does get hit with a stun, Chain of Ice is not going to feel great. You can Trinket this. That's going to be just, oh my god, so much damage taken. Dax is trying to, oh, Dax is just able to chain a Demon Hunter down, ignoring stuns, ignoring everything. He's forcing him out into the spotlight, forcing him to fight a mana, and when the Demon Hunter does not have the mobility to rely for a defensive, there's just nothing you can do. Just crushed by the full might of a warrior. Well done by Dax. Well played. I'm surprised. I thought he was gonna have to go for a stun or anything. No, just chain. Keep him out in the open, don't let him resets. Chilples that taking Dax out very, very quickly. Dax did have to throw quite a bit over at Death Sweep there. Basically almost everything. Kordak trying to see if he can fight the chills. AMS up immediately as he got full army. That is going to get rooted for a second. If Kordak can just avoid majority of the army and then kind of fight Chilples all in his own, he might be okay. Needs something right here. That totem that is going to be able to grip the guy away. Chilples kind of stuck over there next to the totem. For Kordak, that's an opportunity to at least catch up a little bit of healing. I don't know if he got a root totem or anything. Doesn't a break in the roots though either way. That's going to be big ascendance up. Big dome down for Chills, trying to see if he can utilize the defensive. I'm swapping the wrong guy completely, but he's trying to see if he can utilize those defenses to keep himself alive here. As Kordak with yet another root around the corner, trying to go for this lava burst. Stunned by Chills, does have a trigger for this one. And that's going to be more Earth Shocks, Lava Burst combos. Chills does have AMS back up. He's got himself one little defensive left though, which is Death Pact. Trying to keep the pressure on the Cordic while he's got him out in the open. Earth Elemental with a quick stun as Cordic looking for a heal. He's still got Wall, he's still got Guardian. So if he can get himself some big procs, Guardian with Wall, I think will let him catch up quite a bit of health. Chills trying to see if he can even take down the totems. He's not even letting Cordic give those healing totems whatsoever. He's just trying to see if he can stay on that Earth Elemental. Dash strike it as much as possible. Cordic able to recover. Dampening not super high. So he has a chance here. But Chills is going to come down to using the AMS super aggressively and then summoning up the army, maybe together with the pet. He won't have army for 5 seconds. For Cordic, it all depends how he ends up handling stun before he does end up trying to see if he can knock him. The totem does end up yoinking him over. For Chillpuss does at least end up putting some pressure to Cordic, still keeping him on the back foot the entire time. With yet another root around the corner, healing surges are available, able to fully recover. For Chillpuss though, army's available. And I think his Abomination transformation is also available as well. So he can go for a big go versus Cordic, especially if he can slow him down, gripping him in, AMS up to keep himself covered, Guardian up for Cordic. He does get gripped back in, might need a wall here. I think it just might be over. Knocking Chills back, unless he can somehow find an escape. I think it's just done. Oh my god, the amount of raw damage that a DK can bring. Especially against a magic class with an AMS is nutty. I mean, between Death Sweep and Chills, that's just a lot of pressure. Got ourselves here immediately with 10, trying to see if we can make a play versus Bad Bunny, as Assassination Rogue does get gripped inside of a imprisoned into a Sigil of Fear, stun right after, trinkets to follow, stun onto Tier. He doesn't go for a trinket himself. Bad Bunny going in for the most amount of damage right now. I think it's gonna be full dance, maybe even a Death Mark. If he goes in for Death Mark, Tier I think might die. He doesn't have much to work with. If you cloak and just Death Mark him, I think the man is just dead. Hold on a second, I think he might just be down, but I think you're just trying to see if you can save it. He's just gonna delay the Death Mark, catch himself a quick reset, short stun, Garrote to follow, trying to see if he can take down Tier with just bleeds alone, saving a Death Mark for another competitor entirely. Matter right now for Tier, got himself a full stun. Now is a good opportunity to make some damage happen. Massive hold as the Cloak of Shadows comes out for the Rogue. He's still got a blind. If anything, he's got himself a way to peel away. That's gonna be Tier with yet another Blade Dance to follow cheat death for the Rogue. Look at your Endless right now, goes in for Iron Flame, but it's gonna be that extra demon spawning and belching out Hellfire itself. That was wild. I love that encounter. That was so close. Man, that was rough. I'm actually surprised you decided to go just dance without Deathmark. I mean, that would have just killed him. I mean, you did so much damage even without setting all of it, but if you just came in and Deathmarked him as he had his immunity fall off, I think there would be no answer at all. Shad is going to be up next. Immediate cleave out for 10 right now. He's going in for a big cleave onto Shad. Goes in for an I-beam. Maybe, hopefully, will be able to get himself a couple of blade dances here and there. Shad just trying to see if he can backpedal out of this situation. Quick scatter. Shad not looking that good health-wise. 10 is looking fantastic right now. He's just staying right on top of Shad Hunt the entire game, forcing the turtle out of him as he tried to go for a quick imprison. Just got all these pets behind the pillar with him. They're doing a bit of damage. So if Shad can just keep himself out in the open, bump up all these pets, get them all beefed up, get a couple kill commands in there or two, like you could do a lot of pressure onto 10, who just is kind of limited in mobility as well as damage. Got him some big defensive. Shad with a survival of the fittest, trying to be the fittest out of the two, and 10 is taking so much damage from these pets, and just goes down to a death chakram. The amount of damage a Beastmaster Hunter, as well as his entire zoo of pets can do, is insane. It's just on a whole nother level. Who's up next? Is it going to be Inu? Is it going to be Hockey? Is it going to be Buddha? Is it going to be Blood? I think they're still trying to figure out who's going to be next. For Shad, he dives into a quick camo, trying to recover as much health as he can. Trying to see if he can avoid Inu. That's going to be Death Chakram. Actually gets split between him as well as the pet, which is actually pretty good for him. Into a freezing trap. Does end up trapping Inu. That's going to be his go. It is going to be interrupted into a stun right after. He does go for the trinket though. And try to see if he can keep the pressure stun back on Shad. As he's just fighting the pets while waddling toward Shad. Second stun to follow. Trying to see if he can make some damage happen. Not popping big cooldowns yet for Shad. Not a lot of health available. Kill shots as well as kill commands and just doing a number on him. And there's only so much you can do. Quick Harpoon and Inu taking him out very quickly. Tiger Fist charging in immediately in cap. That's going to be freezing trap waiting for him. This is go for a trinket. He committed. That's going to be a quick concussive shot from a distance as Inu goes in for a quick slow onto Tiger. Tiger's trying to see if he can stay on top of him best possible. Lexium, no way out of this one. Full burst available. Does the monk have enough damage? Turtle shell really quickly for Inu though, as the stun was coming off very quickly. And Tiger just got full cooldowns ready to go, but he's trapped up in a tower, cannot escape it easily, trying to see if he can roll out of it. Freeze trap waiting for him, and is going to go for a bit of a reset as Inyo. If you got yourself any kind of way to deal with a pet, your pet died. I didn't even realize. Try to go for a trinket to see if you can interrupt the pet summon, who is going to end up greeting the trinket for Inyu. This could be a situation where you could potentially make a play. Quick, massive slow onto Tiger. Tiger with a quick port as he's trying to go for a bit of a fight around the corner with an explosive, meeting him. Inyu pressuring him with a stun. It is very, very DR'd though after that binding shot earlier. And Tiger got himself at least a couple of AO fights. As long as he's got energy, he should be able to top himself off with healing. And Inyu does have a Bending Bandage's back pocket. Did end up slotting that PvP talent in for this matchup. Tiger throwing out fists left and right over at the pet, as there's going to be some traps set around this pillar. So if he does try to approach Inyu, depending on which region of the pillar he tries to approach from, maybe traps could block his way. Leg sweep. Inyu does not have a trinket. Tiger trying to see if he can make a play. Karma to make sure that Inyu doesn't go hyper aggressive on him, or he's going to take all the damage back to his face. Freezing trap does give the hunter a separation from him to create a little bit of space. Full death shock him sent in is doing quite a bit of damage on its own. This is where Inyu needs to find a way to maximize damage inside of that window. Disarm, but he doesn't really need his weapon as a survival hunter. You got grenades, you got himself a crossbow for kill shots, you got plenty of damage. You don't even need your weapon for a good portion of your attacks, and that's going to be Hunter taken down with Basement Bob. Up next, Inyu catching that quick heal with a Manic Bandage, going up for a stun, but trying to see if he can create some cover behind the pillars and stay away from the other ADV Hunter. Basement charging right in. That's going to be cooldowns out of Inyu, trying to see if he can go hyper counter aggressive here, trying to see if he can go defensive, trying to see if he can answer Bob with aggression, and Bob staying on him is the whole time. Disengage, used usually to retreat, using that aggressively to fly at the guy, taking him out. Hockey is going to be up next. Big blaster onto Basement as he goes in for Lassa. Trinket last second, got himself a survival of the fittest. Big DR for him right now as a full Fury of the Eagle comes out, trying to see if he can amp up his critical strike damage, looking to go for some burst, but I think it's going to be Hockey's potentially taking him out. All these Raptors, by the way, being out in the open, crowding Basement as he's dropping down traps and hopes that one of them traps Hockey's. There's a good chance all these pets are going to end up running over the traps. Does end up catching one right under Hockey specifically, but for the most part, these pets are able to eat a good portion of these traps, which stops Hawkins from having to take the brunt of it all. Does get hit by Disarm, doesn't need his weapons for a good portion of his attacks, but does need that Maelstrom. Has enough Maelstrom built up from earlier, doesn't have taken it, but barely has any health. With DX is going to be up next. Shadow stepping right after. Hockey with a wall together with Guardian. Also, all of his defenses, the most amount of survivability this man can offer himself, and DX is just going to try to see if he can fight through all of the defenses all at once. Trinkets it, but Hockey hits him with a Sunder, not enough health to recover, and does go down. With Blood as well as Buna as the last few left on the enemy team too. DX has himself an opportunity to take down 2 people at a time. He needs to manage his cooldowns appropriately. If he sends something a little early, like sends Cloak of Shadows too early against Buna, or maybe sends Evasion too early before he faces Blood Dagger, he's going to put himself in a really tight situation. Does go for the stun into Buna. Does not have a blink to break out of the stuns easily, so it looks like maybe shot him. Shimmer does play Shimmer, trying to see if he can blink out of that situation completely, but cannot escape it all that easily. Got himself maybe Frostbolts, definitely needs to get himself a lockdown onto DX, trying to see if he can force the Rogue into stealth. Or if you just keep the Rogue behind the pillar, right? Throw down a Frozen Orb, throw down a Blizzard, you could just kind of zone the Rogue out behind the pillar so you cannot stay behind the pillar. He's just going to be taking damage constantly. Put him out in the open, hit him with a Ray of Frost, slow him down to a crawl, which is exactly what Buna is trying to go for. Shadow Meld out of DX just to give himself a reset. Buna, unless you are aware where the Rogue is going to be, or the fact that he Shadow Melded in front of you, and don't really know where he's going to go. Ice Block for him, that is 1 big immunity. He has himself a second. DX has himself an immunity against magic damage. Cloak of Shadows has not got to use it yet. Trying to see if he can taunt the opposition here. Buna still holding on to their own big bursty cooldowns, and as long as they have a second Ice Block and maybe get himself a decent setup, I think that might be okay. DX not a fan of duels, auto-dose? Yeah, and honestly, I mean, it's a rogue, right? It's a scoundrel in the hook point arena, right? There's no way a rogue is gonna show honor in a duel. They take every advantage they can get, dude. Buna tried to go for a breath at the end after a full go by DX. Does not connect. I don't even know how. Getting a shot onto DX that does not have a trinket. He kind of did end up using quite a lot of cooldowns versus the mage, but his survivability chances against Blood are now almost nil. Blind, Vanish. He has you in Shadowy Duel. I think he still see you. He definitely still can spot you into a sap. He hits you with a sab, gouged by DX, looking to go for a stun of the blood, very, very short stun, just starting to follow him. DX gets hit with the blind, he goes for trinket immediately, trying to see if he can make some damage with some blood. He needs an escape right now. He doesn't have advantage, he got himself an evasion, but he can't really escape easily. He's trying to step for blood. If blood ever tries to shadow step behind him to get a kidney shot, DX is trying to see if he can cover that by stepping to him right after. Vanish out of blood. And DX trying to guess where the man might be. Does got himself a reset. Blood trying to find him, but DX is out of there. He doesn't have a trinket. He doesn't have a lot of outs. He doesn't have a single defensive to his name. Blood, at the very least, has a cheat death and a cloak of shadows, but also no trinket. Now it's going to be DX catching the opener. Does he have the cooldowns? Does he have the damage? Can he do enough to pressure blood? Blood catches a stun reversal on the guy. Cloak of shadows for blood in case DX breaks out of that CC. Cannot get hit. Disarm onto DX, and blood just takes him. Just cold blood shadow strikes over and over and over. Taking him out of the game. Well done. Oh, let's get us another one going, boys. Yeah, Caneric as well as Hockey. Let me know if you boys are ready.